and chose to remain outside. It was the polite course of action, Arthur argued. That I'm even here is beyond normal protocol, Your Grace and Your Highness. I started pulling all the clothes on, wishing not for the first time that zippers had been invented here. Getting dressed required far too much in the ways of ties and buttons, which were never made for my seemingly gargantuan fingers. There is one additional thing to consider, Valimir said. Oh, goody, I replied, wrapping my belt around my waist. Hit me with it. Take whatever you need with you. You cannot come back here. That doesn't sound ominous at all. I will explain on the way. You keep saying that and then not explaining anything. I would prefer to be in the carriage before I begin talking. I worry we have already taken too long. He looked me up and down and gave me a nod. I feel you are dressed enough, he suddenly said, neglecting the fact I didn't have boots on, or really anything beyond pants and a single shirt. You have a helper here. I wouldn't exactly call Ragnar a helper, but have him bring your things. Wait. Valimir grabbed my shoulder and steered me out of the room. I knew I was stronger than him and I could have broken free, but it really didn't seem like the right move. He was an ally, in theory, and I figured I needed to listen to him. Out in the hallway, I saw Arthur leaning against the wall, looking ragged. Eliza peeked from a doorway, but when she saw me looking, she quickly disappeared. Ragnar was rubbing his eyes, trying to get all the sleep from them. Obvious to me, at least, that he had been hitting the sauce somewhere the previous night. Baltu was still nowhere to be found. A heartbeat later, I was sitting in the carriage with Ragnar, Valimir, and Arthur, somewhat squished together since this clearly wasn't Valamir's normal ride. This was a smaller and more discreet whip, but that meant a tighter ride. It was not in any way comfortable. Carriages in general aren't the most pleasant. There's a certain lack of suspension technology in Vuldranni that makes me miss even the clunkiest cars and trucks from the old world. But add in too many people crammed into a small space, especially when one of those is an oversized idiot like myself, well, it was a ride. The only saving grace was one of us being a Lutra. Ragnar seemed to have made a full recovery already, just smiling and looking out the window, his little legs kicking a little. Arthur looked a bit like he was going to vomit, while Valimir was gritting his teeth hard enough to crack them. And then there was me, crammed against the window, my head bouncing off the ceiling with every bounce, struggling to get the last of my clothes on in a way that didn't look like I'd gotten dressed in a carriage. Oddly, we rode in silence. I thought there'd be more chatter, but Arthur was afraid to speak while Valimir was busy thinking about things. Ragnar snored softly, somehow falling asleep after the second block. I was both stunned and irritated. Apparently, I needed to take on an entire army by myself, and still no one had explained why. I cannot say this will work, Valimir said suddenly. With that level of confidence, I replied, I'm so glad we're hinging the future of my people on your nonsense plan. It is our only way free of the noose you put around your neck. I know another way. I think he means a way without wanton bloodshed, Ragnar mused, still seeming asleep. You mean as opposed to me somehow winning this war against Mardoom? Point. The Empire does not expect a complete victory over Mardoom, Valimir countered. Granted, I am sure we would accept their surrender, or even the cessation of hostilities, but you merely need to secure Arenberg and Rumid Pass, remove them from active conflict, eliminate that as a front. Oh, is that all? Ragnar asked. Yeah, no bloodshed there in the slightest. You would cut the heads off the nobility here instead? Valimir asked. Is that your answer to this mess? Seems like it's worked in the past. You would have the Empire against you. Civil war. I have to play the game, eh? You do. What if the game sucks? What if the game is rigged? Doesn't it seem like all this... Ragnar put his hand on my arm. Are you pointing out the stupidity of the game to the man who has been playing it his whole life? Valimir gave Ragnar a smile and winked at me. I can muster the slightest twinge of pity for you having to deal with this, Valimir said, though not much beyond that. As your friend says, I have played this my whole life, born into it without choice. Now I am doing what I can to assist you through the same labyrinth. And yes, it is an unfair game.